everyone. Glad to have you with us. Morning Drive on YouTube. Former world #1 Brooks Koepka back in action this week at the Honda Classic. Now, he has dropped to 3rd in the official world golf ranking. Rory McIlroy remaining the top player, with Jon Rahm now in 2nd after his tie for 3rd finish at the WGC Mexico Championship. And you see Justin Thomas at #4, while Dustin Johnson rounds out the top 5. Meanwhile, Tiger Woods currently #10 in the world. So considering this list of the world's top players, we put this question out on Twitter. Who's currently the best closer among the top 10 in the official world golf ranking? We're going to reveal some of your answers coming up, but Damon Hack, I want to get your answer first.
You got it, LT. The winner and still heavyweight champion of the world is Tiger Woods. He's the closer of all time. He's the closer of the current game. I see enough deficiencies in the other great players around him. Brooks Koepka literally is at a knee injury. He's been dealing with Rory McIlroy not getting the most out of his Sundays. Justin Thomas coming off of a bad 54-hole lead. Tiger Woods, forever and today, is still the best closer. He's the Mariano Rivera, the Joe Montana, the Michael Jordan of golf. And even at 44, we've seen it at Zozo. We saw it at the Tour Championship, out front, chasing from the Masters. He is still the game's ultimate closer.
Chasing from the Masters, yes, you threw one in there.
Yes.
No, notoriously amazing front runner.
Ridiculous.
Like historically
Yes.
the best, hands down.
Yes.
But he has had his stumbles. He had an opportunity at the Open with Molinari.
He was still finding his sea legs.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
Yes,
Yeah, so queasy.
He was.
I would say that maybe he had a similar situation in Arnold Palmer Invitational that
Yeah.
same year. He's
16th
had his stumbles.
He has, but I still think that was Tiger kind of on the mend, on the comeback, unsure really of what he still had to give, what his body could produce, what his game could produce. We know what he can produce. You know better than anybody.
Well, if you're going to look historically, forget it. This
How about
conversation's
now?
over.
Yes.
You know, Tiger's the best closer of all time, but how are we going to define closer? Just Sunday stroke average with the lead, charging come from behind? Because then Tiger's certainly not
Everything,
the guy.
presentation, production,
We
intimidation.
have some incredible, great players now. Justin Thomas, just because he blew last week's, I still love him.
Oh, I do too.
And it's 2020. Tiger Woods is 44. He's not the prime guy. He's still the best. He's still the guy that I'm going to put my money on if he has a piece of the lead, especially on Sunday.
In any tournament, on any given week, final group, you've got Tiger, JT, Brooks. Are you still Rory?
Yes.
Any given
oh,
week,
yeah,
you're still
any
taking
given week,
Tiger?
yes. Now, are we talking U.S. Open? Are we talking like go back to Bethpage, something really, really tough at the PGA? Then Brooks scares me to death.
But this matters. The history,
overall,
the resume, and the production
agree.
of late.
Yeah, I mean, the history may be making us all slightly biased because his record is completely undeniable. But it is so hard to, even Patrick Reed, the way that he closed out last week was also phenomenal. You could probably put him in that category, but none of us around this table, other than you, Robert, can tell us what it is like when Tiger Woods is in the chasing pack or he is in front of you at a tournament. What are those feelings like?
When he's in front of you, it's no big deal. You just know it's over, and maybe there's next week, maybe you pick up a few extra dollars this week and move on about your business, get your spot in the money list back then, the FedEx Cup now, because he was just going to win. Forget it. Now, coming from behind, he wasn't really that good at that. That's not his game. When I did win once, he was coming from behind. He shot 63 the last round to almost chase us down, and the only saving grace for me was he ran out of holes. He finally, I'm still on the course. He's done. He can't make any more birdies or eagles from the clubhouse. So I don't have to worry about him. I don't have to hear these big, insane cheers that you could be on any part of the property and still know exactly what's going on. But again, we're talking 2020 right now, top 10 in the world.
Still Tiger.
You with us,
very
Still Tiger.
Your
Not
arguments are very valid
Compelling.
and compelling
Yes.
and historically relevant. But I am looking at a player that I've known to be a great closer, and that's Justin Thomas. And yes, he has not had the greatest Sunday in Mexico, but 8 for 12 in closing out golf tournaments with the 54-hole lead. Part of closing is getting it done with the lead, but part of it also is just performing on Sunday. And he's managed to perform in big moments, in big ways, whether it's going at the Honda here a couple of years ago where he hit a wedge shot to a foot to get into a playoff, whether it's holing out with a wedge shot against Phil Mickelson to get into a playoff, whether it's shooting 59 on the PGA Tour, shooting the lowest historical round in a major championship. He knows how to perform in big moments, and to me, it's a mindset. It's learning how to perform in the zone and letting the flow happen, and Justin Thomas knows how to let the flow happen.
Taking a page from the Tiger Woods playbook. He has, and I think he's the next best. You could say it's Brooks, it's JT. I think they can kind of change the role depending on your Sunday. How's Brooks' knee? Justin Thomas, in this era of golf, he's the definition of a Tiger baby, the way he plays, and more importantly, the way he thinks, what he expects from himself. And I think the way he performs in this deep pool of peers. He is an unstoppable dude. Very, very impressive.
He's also the guy that said, I want to play so well that other people quit golf.
Strong.
It's that confrontational attitude that I love. That's why he's 3-1 in playoffs on the PGA Tour. He won the only playoff he was in the Korn Ferry Tour. The one playoff he lost, may I remind you, was the hole out in Mexico against Phil Mickelson to get into the playoff. So the guy knows how to get it done.
He says it, but Tiger's lived it. Ending players' career.
He drums Tiger when they're paired together, though.
He has.
True. And I won't highlight that JT did have the 54-hole lead coming into Sunday last week and didn't get the job done.
One of the
it
losses.
is a very convincing case that you make. Well, I'm going for a third member of this group of incredibly strong closers, and I'm going for Brooks Koepka, because the man who's got 7 PGA Tour wins, 4 of those are majors. His major record is unlike any other out there in the game. The first player in history to own back-to-back victories in 2 different majors simultaneously, something that not even Tiger has been able to do. To step up there and defend your major title, I can't even imagine how much strength that takes. At one point last year, he got the job done in 4 of the last 5 times he'd been atop the leaderboard going into Sunday. So when you're talking closing, for me, I feel like there's so much more pressure on someone who has slept on the overnight lead. Looking at Bethpage Black, he had a 7-shot lead going into Sunday. He was leading wire to wire, and to carry that build-up of momentum and the world's eyes looking at you going into a Sunday saying, well, if you don't get this job done now, then you've choked. But he didn't, and he stepped up to the mark. So something like that is very special and something that I don't think many players can do, because it's like a robotic zone that he just taps into and he just becomes a machine.
There's a meanness about closing. You've got to have an ornery streak to get out there and say exactly what Justin Thomas did. I'm not just going to beat you. I'm going to beat you so bad you want to quit.
Brooks built quite the resume and quite the notable achievements, and then he had knee surgery. And now he is a different player.
Yeah.
No top 10s in his last 5 starts. I think as we sit today, there are questions about his ability to be the Brooks Koepka of a year ago, 2 years ago.
No, he had like 90
He's not the player he is now.
Tiger's proven he still is. Tiger's proven he's very close to being who he was, height of power.
Sometimes.
I have more questions about Brooks Koepka as I sit here today than I do about Tiger Woods.
But you could also say something tells me Brooks Koepka hasn't even got his season started yet, because the season of championships has got his name written
this week.
all over it. LT, it's a great debate to have. What do the viewers say?
It is. Our viewers, they're jumping right in the mix. And when you ask them, I like that talk about Tiger Woods. He's been there with injuries, the back, also the knee. Stinger Forward says Tiger is still the best to close it out on Sunday and get the W, as he's done 82 times on the PGA Tour. Also this from any major dude. I like this handle. He says, while Rory's super consistent, Brooks Koepka owns those major stages. Justin Thomas, tough to beat when leading and heading into that back 9 on Sunday, although Mexico City was quite the roller coaster for him. Still a tie for 6th, though, but send us your thoughts. Who you think currently is the best to get it done in that final round. Be sure to subscribe to Golf Channel's YouTube page and catch the latest golf news live every day on Morning Drive. See you next time.